Good evening, everyone. It's great to see all of you here for another night of awesome music. We've got a nice spread of selections tonight, surely something for everyone. While there is no specific theme tonight, we've decided to emphasize a collaborative effort among orchestra members, so you'll see a lot of teaming up for tonight's recital. With that being said, I'd like to welcome you to virtual recital number 9 with a little help from my friends. Take it away, Sam. Give us our first intro.
All right, so we'll begin tonight with a little story. In 2018, I got really into recorders. Here's my bass recorder, and here's a soprano and a sopranino. And along with Sarah, Mary, and Stephen, I formed a Baroque recorder quartet subgroup within the Norwalk Gamer Symphony Orchestra. We started off arranging some music on our own, from Final Fantasy IX, Pokemon Gold Silver, Puyo Puyo, but in 2019 I discovered a Brazilian musician, Orlan Charles, who made recorder arrangements online and had done 3 video game arrangements. Although coronavirus derailed rehearsal progress on those arrangements by the recorder quartet, let's kick things off tonight with one of those quartets rearranged for Mike C., Vince, Gabe, and myself to play some of the most famous music from a Super Nintendo launch title.
Yeah.
And Mario music is just so, like, it's so fun.
That was a good time.
The instrumentation was killer. Like, that was such an interesting quartet, and it sounded like all blended, and like if I threw instruments as a dartboard and I got those, I wouldn't imagine that, and it sounded so awesome. It made a really cool dynamic sound. That was really well done.
Yeah, great job, Sam, putting that together.
It's excellent.
Thank you, everybody. Okay. Moving on to our second piece today. Tiz and Agnes are two of the main characters in 2012's Bravely Default for the Nintendo 3DS. Throughout the game's story, Tiz and Agnes fall in love, and this song, presented by Chris, Mary, Liz, and Mikey G, is speculated by some fans to illustrate that musically, by giving unique melody lines to two different instruments in turn. This is Beneath the Hollow Moon by Revo. That was really cool, you guys.
Yeah, thank you to my collaborators, Mary Liz, and of course Mikey G with the ride cymbal coming in clutch. Yeah, it's like the second song I've played now from arranged now from Bravely Default, a game I've still never played. But the music is just amazing. So when I heard this, I was like, okay, I got to arrange this little trio we have here. I was originally going to arrange like a trio of trios, so like 3 trios from 3 different games, but time and everything like that. So, but yeah, it was fun to actually bust out my guitar and then coordinate with everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Chris, I didn't know you were such a good guitarist.
My fingers still hurt from how many takes it took me to do that. Yeah, apparently you need like calluses to play guitar, which I don't have. So, yeah, that was a whole.
Neither do I.
Yeah, it took me like a few hours to do it. And by the end, like my hand was cramped and everything, but got it done. So.
Yeah,
And
that
those
was
oh,
a
sorry,
great.
go on, Nick.
Sorry, that was a great arrangement. Just the instrumentation, how everything fit together. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, the flute cello harmonies were really nice.
Yeah, like originally it was flute, violin, or tin whistle, violin, and then guitar. But as always, I give these really hard violin parts to Liz so she can play them really high up on her cello. And then Mary did great with the flute. And then I couldn't play guitar the whole time, so I was like, okay, I'll just play.
I'm kind of obsessed with the cello, so the fact that I got to virtually play with a cello like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh that.
Yeah, that came out really nice. And this Bradley Default song was slightly less terrifying than the last one we did, but it was challenging and sounded really good. I like the way it came out.
All right, well, moving on to our third piece of the night. Hajime Wakai is a composer with an illustrious resume, having contributed music to many of Nintendo's biggest franchises, including Pikmin, Star Fox, F-Zero, Pokemon, Zelda, and more. He also single-handedly composed the soundtrack to the 2005 pet simulation game for the Nintendo DS called Nintendogs, and nothing symbolizes companionship like the relationship between man and man's best friend, the dog. So, let's listen as Rachael, Steven, Nina, Mikey G, and Nick take us along walking the dog.
Yay!
Yeah, that was very nice, you guys. I realized I forgot to mention that Bryan was in that, right?
How could you?
It's in the program.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, the alto flute sounded super nice. It's like a
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
a rich sound texture I'm not used to hearing.
Yeah, my favorite part was the "Oh my dog," but everything else was really good too. New emote. Yes. Sorry. Good job, Nina.
Okay. Well, so our next piece on the program tonight is brought to us by Nick. Nick, would you like to introduce it?
Sure. So this is a little trio I put together from. This is the Valentina theme from Super Mario RPG. Sometimes it's referred to as Marguerite Margarita or Marjorie Margarita. I'm not actually sure why it's called that because, as far as I'm aware, there's no character in the game called Marjorie. But regardless, in the game itself, which is composed by Yoko Shimomura, it's kind of like a harpsichord 3-part invention of sorts, kind of like a little fugue. And I was trying to decide what I wanted to do with that, whether I wanted to keep it as just a straight kind of harpsichord invention or kind of split it out into something more, and I decided that I wanted to turn it into a string trio. I thought that might kind of fit the Baroque theme, almost like a viol consort kind of thing. So I arranged it for double bass, cello, and violin. And this is going to be featuring Cindy on violin, Liz on cello, and Andy on bass. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the three of them for taking on this challenge, because it's on the technical side. Obviously, Baroque fugue writing can be a little bit demanding. So huge thanks to them. They did an amazing job putting this all together for me. I didn't really do much other than put some notes on a page. But yeah, and also, just to reiterate, Andy is on bass. It's just it'll just be Cindy and Liz in the video, but you can hear the bass, and that is Andy playing it. So yeah.
That was stupendous, you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very well played.
When I was younger and getting rides from my parents everywhere, my dad especially would like to listen to NPR, and NPR would always play like orchestral performances, and I feel like I just listened to like a small ensemble piece on NPR.
Chamber music feature or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool and really, really well done. I think that really speaks to like the authenticity. Not that I know what I'm talking about, but the authenticity, not just of the arrangement, but of the performance as well. It was really, really cool. So thank you guys for like making me feel like a child again in a good way.
Yeah, I was really excited just to hear it. I didn't usually I get to see videos before the performance, so I was this was the one I was most curious about. I was hoping it came out really good, and it did.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something I would love to do in person someday as well. Just so everyone could kind of play off of each other and be able to kind of really get locked in the same room, kind of thing. Yeah.
Imagine that played in the atrium at MagFest with the acoustics.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I felt like everybody was like really like dynamically sunk up, even over like the virtual side of things, and everyone's independent. All like the dynamics were really like in line with each other, which was really cool.
Nick, I'm glad you mentioned playing it in person, because after recording it, the next day I had it stuck in my head all day, and I was imagining like jamming it at the next live rehearsal, whenever that is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, okay. Moving on to our fifth piece of the night. Gravity Rush is a series of action games from Sony for the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4 that feature innovative mechanics allowing the player to manipulate gravity in the world as they play, and music composed by Kōhei Tanaka, famous for composing for anime series like One Piece or Mobile Suit Gundam 8th MS Team, and games like Alundra. So let's take a listen to Chris and Liz's rendition of Lei Elgona from 2017's Gravity Rush 2.
Yeah,
That was very
another fun one.
beautiful. Yeah, it was very lyrical.
Chloe Kid.
Yeah, it's another game I've never played. I just hear these songs on shuffle, and then I'm like, okay, well, it's a cool sounding song. Originally written for, I believe, guitar, cello, and harp. So yeah, it turns out I'm really bad at transcribing harp because that took me, I don't know how many hours just trying to like listen at 0.25 speed on YouTube. But it came out great, and it was nice to play in person. And actually, shout out to Liz because like it's the first time I've touched a piano in like I don't know, years now at this point. So yeah, it was nice.
It was very nice to play with a piano too.
Like a real piano, you mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to a keyboard.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been an accompanist on any keyboard instrument in a long time, so it's
No, I meant
quite a lot different than playing to a click track. I'll tell you.
I mean, Chris said he hadn't touched a piano. I was like,
Well, a real physical
A real piano.
Yeah.
It did definitely give a different sound to it.
Yeah.
Chris, I can relate to your pain in transcribing from the 0.25 speed, and it's like all distorted then too, and it's like, what note is it even playing?
Yeah, if you ever listen to somebody play vibrato at 0.25 speed, it sounds like they're playing two wrong notes back and forth.
It's technically what vibrato is.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun though. And I took a 1-credit course in college called like music accompaniment for piano, and it paid off today. So
sweet,
nice.
Okay, well, our final piece of the night, Sega's Skies of Arcadia is a JRPG that arrived on the Dreamcast in the year 2000 and was later ported to the GameCube in 2002. In this game, assembling a crew and relying on your friends is a major theme. Though its release on the two least popular consoles of their generation has relegated this game to some obscurity, the game's proponents extol its many qualities, among them the soundtrack, composed by Yutaka Minobe and Tatsuyuki Maeda. Let's take a listen as the biggest ensemble to yet perform in one of the NGSO's virtual recitals, comprised of Chris, Brandon, Cindy, Paul, Andy, Mike S., Mary, Nina, HG, and Ben, play a theme that we should all be able to relate to here in New England right now, Town of Ice. That was really well done, everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
There was so much bass in that arrangement.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Thanks everybody for contributing who did. It was definitely a challenge working with so many people and trying to get everybody to sound clear and blend together well, but I think it came out really great.
Yeah, what a lush arrangement.
Well, everybody, that brings us to the end. There's so many people to thank for making tonight possible. Special thanks to all of our followers, subscribers, and Patreon supporters. Your contributions help us moving forward, and we hope you'll continue to support us in the future. Next, I would like to congratulate all the performers on a job well done. You should all be really proud of yourselves. Time and time again, I'm amazed at what we can accomplish in this group. And lastly, thank you to Ben, Sam, Nick, and Nina for helping to organize tonight's event. Without you, it wouldn't have been possible. If you liked what you saw here, can I recommend you like and share this video with everyone you know? You can find us online at www.norwalkgso.org. We're also on Facebook as the Norwalk Gamer Symphony Orchestra and Instagram as the Norwalk GSO. And while you're at it, go check out our Patreon as well. There are some awesome benefits for super affordable prices. All right, well, I guess that's all I have for you tonight. Thank you everybody so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!